Hello, beautiful warriors. I'm Kuchira, and this is the swoosh release yogans. Why do I call it swoosh? Because that's the sound that release feels like in my body. Swoosh. It just comes out of me and I feel lighter instantly. Learning to let go is such a huge way to make your life better instantly. Since it feels so good to finally be able to let go of something you've held on for so long, especially those things that don't serve you, you'd actually think it'd be a whole lot easier to do. But that's not always the case. So learning to let go through the body first helps the mind release the thoughts as well. Our focus today in the swoosh release yogans is letting go through the body and breath first so that the thoughts and the mind can follow. Remember to always move like you, remembering that yogans is not necessarily a physical practice, though we are training the physical body and using the body as a tool to empty the internal emotions or the internal toxic landscape. But yogans is ultimately a practice in self-awareness. With that in mind, always be kind and compassionate to yourself first. I will give you tons of options of modifications, but honestly, the best modification of all is your creativity. So feel free to draw outside the box, make it messy and fun, and let's get to it. Swoosh. You guys know how this works, and if you don't, well, I'll explain it to you right now. I'm gonna teach you a yogans sequence, a yoga dance sequence, and I'll teach it to you in parts. We'll go back, we'll practice, we'll repeat, and then we'll move on until we learn the entire sequence. And after that, we'll have fun destroying everything we've learned. That's basically how it works. All right, let's begin. Since this is the swoosh release yogans, it would only make sense that we start with a very clear and confident swoosh release. So we're gonna start at the top of our mat, standing in a comfortable position, whatever that is for you. And you can choose to just kind of shake it off, swoosh, and even say that word. I want you to say the word, or swoosh, or maybe it's a swoosh, or swoosh. But there has to be some form of a release, a letting go, a relaxation through the entire body, and this sound, the swoosh, the ha, coming deep from the gut. That's what we want. We want to start confident. So starting in the front of your mat, you're going to do your version or versions of swoosh. And it can always change. Then you're going to take a nice big jump. You're going to point your toes as you jump. You're going to land bending into your knees. And then go ahead and place your hands on the floor. And then come down into a forearm plank. This is where we want to end up. Or maybe knees down. You can end up here as well. So if that seems like, whoa, Kuchira, that's outrageous. Well, how about an easier version, or a softer version, I'd rather call it, of a swoosh, rolling down, placing the forearms on the floor as you step back, and just letting it go here. Wherever you are, however you are, we're going to land on our forearms somehow in some way, okay? Then you're going to tuck your toes under unless you already landed in a forearm plank, and this will be the right side. So we're going to run. Try to keep the booty down as much as possible. Try to tap the knees to the back of the upper arms, and go ahead and do anywhere from 4 to 8 or even maybe 10. One key note that's super important to be here. When you are jumping back into your forearm plank, all of this has to suck in. So everything has to activate and tighten and think upwards, because if not, you're gonna dump a lot of pressure into your lower back and that's gonna hurt. So I'm not even gonna do it because that's how bad it is. But imagine if I were just to dump in my lower back and land like this. This is not good. Remember, the floor is not our friend, so we always wanna keep a lot of space from the floor. So we're gonna push out of our shoulder girdle, suck in the belly, tighten up the upper thighs, and land in a solid forearm plank, okay? You're gonna do your runs, and at the end of your 4, 8, 10, however many runs you want, your knee is gonna tap the back of your arm and come up. Show you. Running, right knee taps, and then rises up. From there, you can lift up the elbows and settle back into a 3-legged down dog. Now, this also can be done where I'm here, I kind of just tap my arm, lift up my leg, and finish here. This is fine too. And then maybe here you can play and move it around, however you'd like. So wherever you chose to end, it somewhat is a 3-legged down dog version of your creativity. That top leg is going to come down and lunge and step on the outside of the two hands. So like this, boom. My back knee is going to come down and I'm going to take a moment there. Moving around, doing what I need to do. Continuing from this lunge, next step is take the weight into the back knee like you're going to rise up on your knees, but as you do that, that left toe is going to kind of turn in a little bit so that it's directly behind the left knee. Left hand is going to place down on the floor, and then the right leg is going to lift up. You can grab it, you can do it on the forearm, you can pass through it, or you can have a moment. I love a moment. However you choose to dance through this moment, that top leg is going to eventually cross over the bottom leg, and you're going to end up like so, or like so. Just crossing the right leg over the left. That's what's important. Continuing, we're going to spin to our left side, and then go ahead and do your version of a vinyasa. It can be the classic. It can be or any other form of a push-up, an arch, and a settling back that you can think of. You'll notice that I always like to give lots of options and keep everything really open. In fact, I rarely even label my movement because I want your mind to expand to see how your body wants to move. These yoga dances are simply outlines, and your creativity fills in the boxes. And hopefully you draw a little bit outside too. Let's finish off this final section because we're almost there. So we've all landed somehow in a down dog. We're going to come up on the tippy fingers and push away from the floor. Look between the legs as we walk all the way forward, feet together. And we'll finish here for now. Another version of that is to jump forward. Another version of that, if you're already advanced, is to jump to handstand and bring the legs down. Unfortunately today, I can't show you those versions because I'm still nursing my wrist, but it's getting better, and so hopefully soon I'll be able to demonstrate those things for you. But, you know, your creativity is always much more fascinating than my demonstrations, so we'll leave it at that. I threw a lot at you at one time, so let's go all the way back to the beginning on the left side, moving slowly through this. Here we go. Remember, the first is the swoosh sound with the release. Swoosh. Then it's the jump. Sitting down in your chair as you jump or walk back, finding yourself in some version of a forearm plank, pushing away from the floor, spreading the fingers wide, lifting the thighs. We're going to begin to run with the left knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, go, 5. Good. Left knee finishes the tap and then rises up. Go ahead and find your way into a three-legged down dog, however feels best for you. Play around, do whatever you need to do. Top leg comes down on the outside of the left hand. Bottom knee drops. We take a moment in this lunge. Always feels good. Good. We rise up onto our knees as the right leg kind of pushes back in the same line as the knee. The arms circle. Left leg comes up, does its moment. Yes. Crosses over the bottom leg into a cow face pose, I believe this is called, if my recollection serves me well, or just a seated twist kind of situation. You can even actually take a twist here if that feels good for you. Then we're going to spin to the right side. We're going to take our version of a vinyasa, whatever that looks like and feels like. I would suggest you try something different every time. We're all going to end up in a down dog, and from there you're either going to jump, float, handstand, or do my little walks that I love, or even cross the walks. Slide them like a skier. And rolling up. Beautiful. So remember, the action of all of this is this release. And you can actually find this release everywhere, in many places, and in many transitions. The release really starts from the breath. And if you do the breath and a big voice comes out, you notice that the spine will kind of follow, the head will loosen, even it'll flow through the fingertips. So think of this as a full embodied body release. Let's go back to the right side and see if we can flow through this a little bit more dancey and easier. More releasey, I guess would be the word. Here we go. We're going to take our release, run into the jump, into the forearm plank, into the run. Right leg comes up. Good. Lunge it. Outside of the right hand. Go ahead and find your little, I like to call this like a gymnastics move. I don't know if it is, but whatever. We cross our knees. We spin it around. We take our version of our vinyasa. Good. And then we walk to the front of the mat, however we choose. Whew. Beautiful. And rise if you're not already there. Go ahead and pause the video, try this on your own, see what you can find, and then come back to me and we'll learn part 2. Hope that went well. Let's continue second part, right side. We finished standing up, but actually it doesn't matter how it's going to continue on. We're going to finish in a squat. So we did our version of our vinyasa. We finished in a down dog. We moved to the front of the mat, resisting the floor, pushing away from the floor, creating a tunnel kind of effect, pulling the pubis up. And then we're going to come up on our tippy toes, taking the weight on the inside of the foot, the ball of the foot, so not on the pinky, but the ball of the foot, squeezing the knees, the pubis, the heels, and the toes together, coming into a low squat. You're going to take a moment to check your balance there. If you'd like, you can even rise up and then slowly rise down, but take this moment to check your balance, pulling the pubis up. And then from there, here we go. This is the fun part. Here's our swoosh release. And I'm going to give you a couple versions of it, but let me show you the original first. You're going to let go of your hands and come down into your heels, roll back, come up high, and then roll back down into a seated butterfly. So here are some of my ideas for this. If that seems all too scary for you, we'll take it step by step. You'll roll down, but you'll do it in a very controlled fashion. You'll come up high in the hips, place your hands underneath your hips maybe, and then lift one leg up, lift the other leg up, and maybe let the leg settle back, rolling down very slowly, and then rolling up into a butterfly. You can even roll down and just use your hands here to support you, pressing the palms down, going back into a plow pose, and then again, doing the same action, coming up into a butterfly. If you want to make it more fancy, roll down, maybe you float. This is a really fun one, but you have to kind of be very safe with your neck here, so this is more advanced. Or you can play with your legs a bit. I'm all about play. And then letting go. So there you notice there was a release in my neck as I rolled up. There's a letting go and a trust fall as you roll back. And then the other thing that you notice is that every time I let go and swoosh, I exhale. Swoosh. Yes, this opens up my heart and my chest and allows the energy to flow outwards. We don't want to when we're trying to let go. That would create an opposite effect and also confuse the body quite a bit. One final really important note here. When you're going backwards, always look up towards the ceiling. Don't turn your neck, not even just a little bit, because the neck area is very sensitive and there's a lot going on. So you don't want to kink your neck. So always looking upwards, particularly in this plow pose. And then once you're here, then of course you can play free again with the neck. Just be aware of that, especially if this is not something that you commonly do in your practice. Moving on. From the seated butterfly pose, we're going to turn towards our left side. We're going to use the left hand to help us, but ultimately it's the right hand that's going to support us. So right hand supports. This left foot comes out on the outer edge of the foot. You're going to be tempted to stack them, and you can into side plank, but instead I want it to pass through. Go ahead and step on the left foot as you continue to rotate to your right and land in a low squat position. Let's just review all that on the left side from the seated butterfly, shall we? So it's a lot easier than it looks. It's just like a quick little transition that has a lot of steps to it. So we're in a seated butterfly. We turn towards our right, using the right hand to help us, but ultimately the supporting hand is the left. This left foot, your legs are going to kind of end up crossed, but the left foot is going to kind of cross through the bridge, outer edge of the foot. The free leg, now the right leg is going to step as you rotate your body. It's almost like a lunge, right? So I'm facing my hand, that's down, and then I continue the momentum to the left until I'm in the low squat. So ideally, this will just be one movement. It'll look like this. Ha! That's really fun. What's cool about this is that you'll probably feel that you have 100 hands and 100 feet, but luckily, you know, we have what we have. So again, one more time, just really slow, and then we'll try the left side fast. So we're seated. We just did our little swoosh release with the plow pose. We go ahead and the right foot stacks on the outer edge, left foot plants, and then you spin it around in the low squat. It's actually a lot easier to do when you're doing it consecutively because the body just flows. It trusts. In order to trust, you have to do that swoosh release energy, which is very much so in this movement. Let's try the left side together, a little bit faster, a little swoosh. Here we go. Yes, and you'll notice I really use my arms to get me around. I use my shoulders to get me around, and I really plant my foot nice, solid, and secure. So let's slow it all down. Go back to the right side from everything we've learned, top to the point that we've learned. Here we go. From the very top, we're going to do right and left side very slowly. So our first swoosh release. Jump, point the toes. Remember to hold the belly as you jump or walk back to the forearm plank. We run with the right leg first, and then we finish with the right leg as it shoots up into your three-legged down dog version. That top leg is going to scoop down, step outside of the right hand into a low lunge, low Anjaneyasana actually, because that back knee is going to drop. Right here, you pick up your pubis a little bit. Take a moment. Go ahead and rotate that bottom knee. Right hand kind of fans through. Do your little pretty scale gymnastics move. Cross the right leg over the left. From there, take a twist if you'd like. Actually, the twist feels great. Turn it around and do your version of the vinyasa. Good. We all land in a down dog. Let's just take 2 breaths. We walk up to our hands or jump or however you want to creatively get there. Enter into that releve squat. Do your version of the balance, whatever that is for you today. Test yourself. And then we're going to release right into the plow. And we're going to release right into the seated butterfly. Yes, take a moment there, move around, resituate yourself, sit up nice and tall, up on the sit bones. Here we go, our little transitional move. Right hand settles down, outer edge of the right foot, left foot follows. Continue to spin towards your right side as you go into a low squat position. And I'm just gonna add one more move here because we're gonna stand it up. From here, you're gonna jump and have a big release moment there. How nice is that? Yeah. And I really want that to come with an exhale. Even a sound would be beautiful. Left side, here we go. More releasey. Big swoosh. Jump up. Forearm plank. Run with the left. Good. Here we go. Left 3-leg down dog. Swipe it down. Low lunge. Go ahead and spin that right leg around. Left arm down on the floor, cross over, take your twist, spin to the right, take your vinyasa. A down dog, take as many breaths as you need. Walk to the front of the mat, or towards your hands rather. Take your balanced squat. Shoulders down, here we go. plow pose or your version of. Roll up, seated butterfly, transitional move, spinning to the right, and then finding ourselves in a squat to jump. Big, wide open swoosh. Go ahead and pause the video, do the right and the left on your own, and then come back to me and we'll continue on. Very well, we've arrived to the final piece of the puzzle, chapter 3. Let's complete this thing. So, we ended up on the right side, our feet nice and wide spread, strong stance, big open swoosh circle. We're going to make sure that when you do this stance spot, you open up your legs really wide and that they're stable and solid. Really pull up that pubis and come up strong, because that's going to go right into transferring your weight onto the left leg, so it has to be stable. Left leg is stable, right leg drags, and your rest of your body kind of goes with that movement, creates the same kind of texture and breeze. But as I drag and transfer, I find the weight on my standing leg, which is my left leg. My right leg is going to continue the swooshing energy. That's why it's so important to come into it with that energy, because it invites that movement into the body. So, now, this swoosh here is kind of very abstract. It can move any way. My leg tends to go in this like figure 8 kind of environment, but really, play with it as much as you want. You can even put the leg down. I just want you to move your body in this way so that your body starts to understand this rhythm more and more and more. So after you swoosh a couple times with the leg, that free leg, the crazy leg, is going to travel backwards into a high lunge. Now here's a tip for stability. Make sure that the right leg shoots back with a little space or away from the standing foot. So a little bit to your right in this case, because that way you'll be more stable. If this leg shoots back in the same line, your balance will be a little bit more wobbly. So, wide stance. We swooshed, we played, we dragged first, we swooshed, we played, and then we step it back into a high lunge. Once you come into that high lunge, lift the torso, squeeze the pubis upwards. You'll find a lot of beautiful things happening here in the right hip flexor, and find this new space you're in. Then you're going to transfer the weight back into the back heel, and then let the body kind of turn off to the side as you start to play with transferring the weight back and forth from the front foot to the back foot. And in the same way that the body dragged along with this movement, in this moment of the yoga dance, it's going to do a very similar texture, but as you're kind of rocking back and forth. Again, feel how your entire body can get into this kind of system. From there, after you kind of do that a couple times, you're going to pick up your front foot, the left foot, and turn it out. Drop the back knee, and then straighten the front leg, lift up high in the torso, and let the hands fall on the outside of the front leg, which is straight. It gets this beautiful, strange twist pattern going on in your body. Let's just hang out here for a minute so we can feel it. And from there, you're going to just transition through another bridge. So this front leg is going to stay right where it is. This is going to be your supporting foot. You're going to bend into it. The back leg is going to come around right through this hole, and you're going to end up looking to the front of your mat. Right through the hole, use the free hand to help you balance, and boom, you've landed in this position. Left leg is bent, right leg is straight. Here you play a bit, you can fold, you can bind, you can extend the bent leg, you can grab with the opposite hand and do a compass-like movement. You can cross the bent leg over the straight leg and get into that hip. Or you can simply just sit there and stand with a long spine and breathe. This is beautiful too. After you've had your play here, step onto that right leg, the straight leg. Try to stay low, and the left leg opens up. So now you find yourself in a deep turned out squat, which is perfect for a grand plie. Second position grand plie, which means just straighten the legs and find a swoosh energy here. Again, very playful with the arms and feeling how different this swoosh is from all the other swooshes. That's the cool part about it. So we do a couple grand pliés, and then we can't ignore the great setup into the transition of the half moon. So from there, the left foot is already placed exactly where it has to be, facing the back of the mat. The left hand starts the movement, the right hand follows it. Keep the chest wide open, transfer the weight into the left foot, pick up the right foot, toes pointing towards you guys, and you make this little cross shape. Try to keep the chest open. If you need a little balance, go ahead and drop the arm. If it hurts your knee a little bit, go ahead and bend the bottom knee, and then just widen through the chest. And finally, we finish it with one final swoop. The back leg comes through. Ha! Just kind of does this violent kick forward. If the kick is too much for you, keep it low. Make it travel more through the body. And again, I always recommend you try everything. After your final kick, duck. You have 5 free swooshes. 2, 4, 5. So remember, swooshes is about letting go, getting rid of that excess energy or that non-serving energy, or even making space for fresh new energy to come into the body. Let's review all of this again on the left side. Let's try the left side. Remember that big, bold, wide stance. Dragging leg is going to be very swooshy and releasey. The stable leg is going to be solid and defined. Then you're going to play with the free leg, the left leg in this case. It's going to step back. Remember to stagger into a high lunge, lifting from the pubis, really bending into that front knee. When you find the stability, don't rush through that. You're going to start to transfer the weight back and forth, swooshing, even getting your torso into this, until eventually that front foot, the right foot, turns out, the back knee drops, and the hands cross over to the right side. Now, to remind you, here you're going to be like, where do I go? I don't understand. It's very simple. Just take your weight forward into your front leg, and it's going to go through the hole. So that back leg is going to go between your left hand, because I'm on the left side, and that front foot. Right through the hole until you're seated. Okay? And from here, the right leg is going to be bent, the left leg is long. You play. Do your thing. Have your moment, however feels good for you today. Good. You're going to step onto the left leg because we're on the left side. The right leg is going to turn out. You're going to go into that big, deep, beautiful grand plie. Second position. Have your moment there. Really enjoy these moments. Don't rush through them. And then you're going to keep the right foot where it is, which is pointing towards the front of your mat. Your arms are going to circle, starting with the right. The left will follow. Back leg picks up. Half moon, opening the chest. Back leg swooshes forward, and that starts your next 5 swooshes. 1, 2, 3, 5. Yes. Wonderful. Getting to the grand finale here, but first let's do right and left side all together. Starting with the right side, let's just take 3 breaths. You should kind of have a good idea of this by now, so I'm gonna very generically just call out what's happening. All right, here we go. Inhale to swoosh, jump to forearms. Run. 3-legged down dog. Inhale, exhale, lunge. A little gymnastics trick, a little scale. Cross the right leg over the left. Take your twist. Vinyasa. Take your time, breathe. Feet to hands. Squat balance. When you're ready, plow to seated butterfly. Take a moment to adjust. Transitional move. Find yourself in a low squat. Beautiful. Come up, sunshine. Drag. Play. Step it back, high lunge. Shifting the weight. Turn the front foot out, back knee down. Back leg goes through the tunnel. Play. Take your time. Transferring to grand position. Plie. Half moon. Swoosh. 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 Final swoosh. Whew. 3 breaths. Left side. Final breath to prep, and then you know what the deal is. Swoosh to forearm plank to run to 3-legged down dog. Find the lunge. Shift on the knee. Cross it over. Take your twist. Vinyasa. Walk to the hands. Find the balance squat. Plow. Seated butterfly into your squat. Lots of breath, people. Remember to breathe. Remember to swoosh. Remember to release. Yes. Big sunshine. Drag and play. Step it back. High lunge. Shift the weight. Very breathy. Keep it breathy. Turn it out. Tunnel through. Take a moment until you get into the grand plie. Half moon, swoosh, 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 swoosh. Half moon, swoosh. 1, 2, 3, let it all go. Forward, final one. 5, how fun is that? All right, now it's my turn to show you my version of this swoosh release yogans. I hope it inspires you to play in your practice and continue letting go.